My cheating wife left me when I was hospitalized. Now, 12 years later, she's begging for forgiveness. Hello, I'm John, a 47-year-old man looking for some advice on a personal story that started over a decade ago. 12 years ago, I was married to my first wife, Sarah. We had been together for 7 years and shared two beautiful children, Emily and Jack, who were 5 and 3 at the time. Our life was typical and uneventful, until a day that changed everything. One morning, while on my way to work, a speeding car came out of nowhere and crashed into mine. The next thing I knew, I woke up in a hospital bed covered in bandages. A nurse told me I had been in a coma for 2 days. I was thankful to be alive and expressed my gratitude to the medical team for saving me. But as I would soon learn, the accident was only the beginning of my troubles. A week into my treatment, the doctor delivered devastating news. My lower body was paralyzed, and there was a high chance I would never walk again. This was a blow I wasn't prepared for, and it sent me spiraling into a deep depression. Sarah was visibly shaken by the news. She now had to take care of everything at home, including our children. I was consumed with despair, haunted by the thought of never being able to play soccer with my kids again, or hold my wife close while dancing. Things went from bad to worse when Sarah's visits to the hospital became less frequent. In the beginning, she brought the kids to see me 3 times a week. Those were the only moments that brought me joy. But as the days turned into weeks, her visits dwindled. I begged her to bring the kids, but she claimed they didn't want to see me so often. My heart sank further. Then, one day, she handed me divorce papers and bluntly stated, "I can't spend my life with a disabled man. I'm still young and attractive. I deserve a normal life with a normal man." I had suspected for some time that she might leave, especially when she started to distance herself, but I never thought it would happen so quickly. Just a month after my accident, friends began to tell me they had seen Sarah with an older man, someone in his 50s, at cafes and shopping malls. Some speculated she had been seeing him even before my accident, while others thought she had quickly found someone new out of desperation. It wasn't even 2 months since the accident when I received those divorce papers, and I was still in the hospital. I was shattered, emotionally, physically, and financially broken. I had no savings to speak of after covering our living expenses, mortgage, and the kids' education. Thankfully, my insurance covered most of the hospital bills, but I had to deplete what little savings I had left for the rest. I was utterly devastated, a wheelchair-bound man with no income or financial security, relying entirely on my aging mother for support. After being discharged, I moved back in with my parents. At 35, I was broke, disabled, and dependent on my 60-year-old mother, who earned a modest living running a small flower shop. Despite her own financial limitations, she offered to support me, a kindness that only made my situation feel more humiliating. Desperate to see my children, I went to our old home, only to find it locked. Neighbors told me Sarah had moved in with her new lover, taking the kids with her. They described her new partner as a wealthy older man who had been divorced twice but had no children. Many called Sarah a gold digger for abandoning me so quickly. I managed to find her new address and showed up, hoping to see my kids. But Sarah refused to let me in, insisting that the children had adjusted to their new life and now called this man Daddy. She even threatened to file a restraining order if I continued to insist on seeing them. I was broke and could barely afford to live, let alone pay for a lawyer to fight her in court. So I had no choice but to leave. It was a crushing blow, especially coming so soon after our divorce. I confronted Sarah, asking how she could move on so quickly, and pleaded for another chance to prove my worth. She dismissed me, calling me a burden. I asked her if she had been unfaithful even before the divorce, considering how fast she had moved in with someone else. She waved me away, saying it was none of my business, and told me never to show my face to her again. I stood there, staring at the woman I'd spent 7 years with, wondering how she could replace me so easily. Returning to my mother's house, I broke down. My mother, however, was a rock. She encouraged me to take control of my life. I started helping her at the flower shop, making bouquets and serving customers. It wasn't long before I saw an opportunity to grow the business. I reached out to my old contacts and started getting contracts to supply flowers for events. Gradually, I built a team and expanded into venue decorations, eventually launching my own event management company. It took 12 years, but I rebuilt my life from the ground up with my mother's unwavering support. About a year after the accident, I learned Sarah was leaving town with our children. I rushed to try to see them one last time, but they were already gone. Over the years, whenever I got a lead on their whereabouts, I would try to visit, only to be turned away or threatened by Sarah and her wealthy partner. He had money and influence, which made it impossible for me to fight back. Despite her threats, I never gave up hope of seeing my children again. A year ago, I finally felt financially secure enough to file for joint custody. I hired a good lawyer, and after a long legal battle, was granted 15 days to spend with my children. They are flying in next week. Although Sarah tried to block my efforts in court, I was determined to see my kids. They're older now, 17 and 15, and they expressed a desire to meet me. I know I can't make up for lost time, but I'm looking forward to reconnecting with them. As the day approaches, I'm filled with both excitement and anxiety. I hope they haven't been poisoned against me by their mother. I'm not sure what she's told them over the years or how much they believe. If anyone has advice on how to approach this reunion, I'd love to hear it. I'm trying to be cautiously optimistic. Comments from the community. Wow, you've been through so much. It's amazing to see how you've rebuilt your life. Best of luck with your children. Take it slow. Let them get to know you and your new family. Maybe start by building a bond with their grandmother. That could help ease them into this new dynamic. Don't be in a rush to explain everything. Let them come to you with questions and be as honest as you can. They may have a lot of conflicting feelings. OP, it's heartbreaking what you've been through, but your strength and resilience are truly inspiring. You've been able to turn your life around despite everything, and now you have the chance to reconnect with your children. Focus on the positives and be patient with them. They wanted to meet you, which is a great start. Update 1. Hello, everyone. I have some new developments to share. I realize I left out 2 significant details in my original post. Firstly, I am now remarried to a wonderful woman named Rebecca. We got married 5 years ago. Rebecca is an interior designer. We met while she was designing a venue for a wedding, and my company was handling the flowers. This was before I started my own company. There wasn't an immediate spark, but we quickly became friends after running into each other at multiple events. She was a single mom with a 3-year-old daughter. The idea to start an event management business was actually hers. She had worked in the field for years and knew the ins and outs. We decided to partner up, and after dating for a year, we got married. Now we're a happy family of 4. Rebecca, her daughter Lily, my mom, and me. Lily was thrilled to have a grandma, and my mom was equally excited. The second thing is about the accident compensation. I was hit by a truck, and ideally I should have received compensation from the logistics company that owned it. However, they managed to dodge responsibility back then by twisting the facts and making it look like I was at fault. I couldn't afford a good lawyer, so I got nothing. These big companies have deep pockets and use them to protect themselves. After marrying Rebecca, she suggested reopening the case since we could now afford a good lawyer. The case is still ongoing, but our lawyer believes we have a strong chance of winning. Back to the main story. 3 months ago, as I mentioned, my children were coming to visit for the first time in 12 years. I was both excited and nervous, but Rebecca was a pillar of support, keeping me grounded. I went to the airport to pick them up. Emily is 17 now, and Jack is 15. They have grown into lovely teenagers. The ride home was a bit awkward. There were long silences, and I tried to break the ice by asking about their school and friends, but I avoided any mention of their mother, and so did they. They seemed distant, perhaps overwhelmed by the situation, or just being typical teenagers glued to their phones. When we arrived home, Rebecca was there to greet them, but their reaction caught me off guard. They seemed surprised to see her. It was odd because if their mother could move on and live with another man, why couldn't I? Rebecca had set up a comfortable guest room for them, and we all sat down for lunch. Rebecca laid out plans for a family vacation, but the kids' reactions were hard to read. They neither looked thrilled nor disappointed. They mostly kept to themselves, and after lunch, they retreated to their room. Soon after, Sarah called me, furious. She accused me of deceiving the kids and hiding my remarriage from them, suggesting I was trying to manipulate them. I was stunned by her accusations. She claimed I was out to turn the kids against her. I hung up, not wanting to deal with her nonsense. But the call made me realize I needed to clear the air with my children. I asked them to come out of their room to talk. They hesitated, but eventually opened up. They were angry because their mother had told them I abandoned them. Sarah had spent years filling their heads with lies about me. I calmly explained my side of the story, that it was Sarah who had quickly moved on with another man after the accident. I showed them the restraining order she had filed against me and the numerous attempts I made to contact them over the years. Tears welled up in their eyes, and they admitted they had been wrong to believe her lies. Jack confessed that once he had tried to find me on social media, but Sarah caught him and emotionally manipulated him into promising never to reach out again. The kids also revealed that life with Sarah's boyfriend had not been easy. He never treated them like family and often belittled them. My heart broke hearing about their hardships. After the truth came out, we hugged and cried together, releasing years of pent-up pain and frustration. We then went on a week-long vacation to Florida, where we bonded as a family. Emily and Jack got along well with Rebecca and Lily, who is now 8. It was a dream come true to see my family united and happy. The kids even posted photos on social media, calling us their happy family. This infuriated Sarah, who called them, accusing them of betraying her. She sent me threatening messages, warning me not to turn them against her, but I found her threats laughable and meaningless. After returning from the vacation, I introduced the kids to my extended family, and they were warmly welcomed. As they were leaving, they promised to keep in touch, despite Sarah's threats. They said they felt suffocated living with her and planned to move in with me after finishing high school. I hugged them tight and bid them farewell. Since their return, we've been in regular contact, and I hope to have them with me soon. I'll update you on any new developments. Thanks, everyone. First comment, wow, it must feel good to have the truth out in the open with your kids. Your ex couldn't even be honest with them. She's clearly afraid of facing the consequences of her actions. Update 2. Hello, everyone. It's been a while since my last update. A lot has happened in the past 6 months. About 3 months ago, I finally received a favorable ruling in the court case against the logistics company. Not only did I get a substantial compensation for the accident, but also for the injustice of the first trial. As I may have mentioned earlier, the company had originally managed to dodge responsibility by blaming the accident on me. This time, however, with a competent lawyer, we won the case. I immediately shared the news with my children, and they were thrilled. They expressed a desire to come and stay with me permanently, and I promised to make that happen. Then, about a month ago, Sarah unexpectedly showed up at my office. She was emotional and asked for forgiveness. I was caught off guard by her sudden appearance. She confessed that after my accident, she had become desperate and sought out an older man who was looking for a younger partner. Apparently, this man had a history of bad relationships with younger women who took advantage of him. So he chose Sarah, who was in her early 30s at the time, and saw her children as proof of her commitment. Sarah explained that the man had made it clear from the start that he would not marry her and would keep her as a mistress to avoid sharing his estate with my children. Sarah had accepted his conditions, hoping to provide for the kids. When I asked why she didn't consider working instead, she claimed she had no job skills and wasn't confident she could maintain the same lifestyle on her own. She insisted that she had done it all for the children's sake, to ensure they had a secure future. I was annoyed by her justifications. I told her that if she had truly been concerned about the children's future, she should have given me a chance to recover and contribute instead of abandoning me without any discussion. I made it clear that her pleas were meaningless to me now. She tried to remind me of the good times we had shared, but I cut her off, saying those memories no longer held any value for me. Then she crossed the line, claiming that my real family consisted of her and our children, not Rebecca and Lily. She even pointed out that Lily wasn't my biological daughter, implying that I couldn't have a proper family with them. I was disgusted by her attitude and told her flatly that Anna and Lily were my true family now. She refused to leave my office until I threatened to call the police. When I got home, I told my mother and Rebecca what had happened. Rebecca was understandably upset, but she handled it gracefully. My mother admitted she had never liked Sarah, believing her to be selfish. She speculated that Sarah's sudden return was motivated by the compensation money I had received from the court case. When my children found out about their mother's behavior, they confronted her and told her to stay out of our lives. Apparently, her wealthy partner also warned her that he would kick her out if she tried to contact me again. I'm actually grateful to him for that. The latest news is that my children will be moving in with me soon. They plan to stay with us briefly before heading to a nearby college where they want to experience campus life. I think it's important for us to stay connected while also giving each other space to get to know one another better. My children have distanced themselves from Sarah, and now she's left with nothing but her sugar daddy. I hope she enjoys her comfortable life until it turns sour. What does the community think? First up, I love how you handled the situation with Sarah. She's clearly a freeloader who jumped ship at the first opportunity. Seems like she was cheating all along. She got what she deserved. Another commenter added, "Could you share your lawyer's contact? I know someone dealing with a similar case. It's inspiring how you turn things around. Best of luck." It's not surprising she came back after you got that settlement. She lost everything, just like you did years ago. But now everything has caught up with her. Wishing you and your kids all the best for the future. What are your thoughts on this story? Share your comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We'll see you next time.